Wow, thank you everybody. Thanks for coming out.
It's a big turnout today.
Wow.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you, Los Angeles. So for those of you who don't know, I am Sam.
And I am Soorej.
And welcome to CassiePod, the show where we talk about pop culture, music, movies, and yep, pop culture. Today we're going to be talking about
the process that goes into making a pop culture icon.
the creative process.
So a lot of pop culture icons, a lot of them have been around forever. Not forever, but a very long time. Star Wars has been around since the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
But if you actually go back to watch interviews from around when they were first created,
They all started out as something original.
They all started out as something original, and the people, they thought they were just making some silly movie that was good. George Lucas thought he was making some space opera,
Mm-hmm.
and it ended up being Star Wars. And it's the thing is, you don't set out to make a pop culture icon.
No.
You just create original stuff.
The thing is that the most, I guess, well-known, the most famous, the most popular artists that there are in pop culture all started out with one key characteristic, which is passion.
Yes.
They all had passion.
Yeah, the drive. George Lucas, he was an experimental filmmaker. Even Star Wars for its time was pretty crazy for what he did. He wanted to make a space opera.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody said yes. He wanted to make a 9-hour space. So he's like, I'll make 9 hours into a trilogy. Nobody thought of that. That seems so silly now.
And at their first viewing of it at his house, they all said it sucked.
Yeah.
Too.
No, it seems so silly now to be like, he thought he'd make a trilogy. That's silly.
Mm-hmm.
No, nobody did that yet. Dune famously didn't get made because it was going to be 10 hours and they didn't think to make it a trilogy. So George Lucas was really passionate about this silly thing called the Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
It originally had a really long title. He got working. He got people. Mark Hamill, who the hell is this kid?
Yeah.
Like, somebody's daughter for Princess Leia.
Yeah.
Carrie Fisher's just somebody's daughter.
Debbie Reynolds.
Harrison Ford was probably the most well known, but he wasn't even big yet. He was in his older movie American Graffiti, but for what he was trying to set out was just trying to push movies as far as they could go, as far as he could make it, and he ended up making a pop culture.
And that's what you find in literally every pop culture icon.
They weren't trying. They were just, I'm really passionate about this thing.
Yeah.
And I want to make this thing. And this doesn't just go for movies. Harry Potter, too.
And
she probably was just like, I want to make this book. And she made it.
Yeah.
And it ended up blowing up.
Yeah, and that's the thing. There's not really any formula to it. It's just drive, and the rest is kind of random. You know, they just do what they think is amazing.
And if people like it, then it blows up. And,
yeah.
and an important thing to avoid is making stuff that people like. Because then what you'll find is you'll find yourself making a lot of things that everyone has seen before.
Yeah. And, and chances are, if you are making something that you're super passionate about and that you think is going to be awesome and that you think is awesome, other people probably will too.
Yeah,
you aren't the only one out there who thinks those things. So that's something
inspiration comes from literally anywhere. Finding Nemo, for example.
Yeah.
I think that the person who made it had like a drowning experience when they were a kid.
Yeah. So the writer and director of Finding Nemo, Andrew Stanton, he almost died when he was a kid, and that gave him. Apparently, he says that gave him the inspiration to write Finding Nemo, because Nemo was a very, I guess, not a sick kid, but he had his little fin that held him back, and that's how Andrew Stanton felt.
So, with a movie like Finding Nemo, he wasn't making like Finding Nemo. He was just making an animated movie about a fish.
Something that was close to him.
And it was close to him. It was important to him, so he was really passionate about it. He made it. It turned out fantastic, and what do you know?
Yeah.
It became an icon, and now it has a sequel.
That's with so many Pixar movies, Ratatouille, that movie's about a dreamer, but it's not just any random dreamer. It's this rat that wants to be a chef, which is probably the most bizarre, like the
Yeah.
most.
by far.
Yeah, and
But
and that's
it's just the interesting thing about inspiration is it could come to you from anywhere. So I really think that if you get an idea, if it comes from anywhere, no matter how much developed you have it in your brain, just write it down. And if you're passionate about it, pursue it, because that's what all these people did.
yeah,
George Lucas, his first big movie was American Graffiti, and
Yeah.
what he literally just filmed his life basically. He grew up in Modesto, and he cared a lot about cars in the '60s.
and so it's a movie.
It's a movie about cars in
cars
Modesto in the '60s.
Yeah.
So I think what you have to avoid is thinking that you're going to make a pop culture icon. You need to just make something you're passionate about, and if you're passionate enough about it, you put enough hard work into it, maybe it blows up.
And that's what Quentin Tarantino said. He said you don't need to go to film school. You don't need to learn all the buttons and everything. You need to find your job is to have the idea in your head and to tell everyone else about that idea and have these other talented people help you make that idea. Your job is to just think and create, and if you are passionate enough about it and if you have that drive and you think you're making something that's going to be awesome, then it probably will be.
We go back to Edgar Wright with Baby Driver. He literally had that idea for years. He made a short music video, and it was basically the intro to Baby Driver, and he tried to make that movie for such a long time, and what do you know?
Yeah.
He made it, and it blew up. It was his biggest movie in America, I believe, which is incredible. I'm so happy for him that he got to make something that he was passionate about. And he wasn't going to say, I want to make this really big movie. He's like, I want to make this movie.
He had the passion to hold on to that idea for so long. That's a very common trait that you see in these things. Christopher Nolan came up for the idea of Inception when I think he was either 16 or 17 years old.
It's patience. Patience is a very big thing. It won't come right away, but if you're willing to put in time and effort, you'll be able to accomplish more than you probably think you can. Like Christopher Nolan's first movie, The Following, he made that on weekends with his friends. If you watch it, it does not seem like that at all. Granted, it's not his best movie, but for what he was able to accomplish just on a budget of pocket money, he didn't borrow money for this movie. He's just like, oh, this is a project we're gonna make on weekends with my friends, and he was
super excited about it.
And he was excited about it. He was passionate about it. It ended up being great.
And look where he is now.
He's one of Hollywood's biggest directors.
Yeah. So that's our podcast for today.
What we want to push is that if you out there have an idea, don't just give up because it's not working now.
Exactly.
Keep passionate about it. If you're passionate about it and you keep pushing and you have that drive inside of you, maybe it becomes something one day.
Chances are, if you like it, someone else will too. Even the room.
Yes.
It's not. Tommy Wiseau, when he created it, he didn't think people would like it in the way that they do like it now.
He thought it was a drama.
But look at where he is.
It thought it was a drama. It ended up being a silly movie. He's embraced it.
Yeah.
He's embraced it as a
and
comedy.
Now he's making his next movie.
It has a book written about it, and it has a a mockumentary about how it was filmed, and he's making his next movie now because people are so passionate about what he made, and it's because he had an idea in his head.
Yeah.
He said, I'm making this drama about this room.
And he did it.
And he made the drama about this room. And
exactly.
And although it didn't turn out, people didn't like it the way he thought they would. They still liked it, and it's still very famous today.
And honestly, like no BS, in my eyes, that is probably a more successful movie, to me at least, than whatever was the last Marvel movie that came out.
I agree.
Yeah.
I very much agree. So, the thing with the Marvel movies is like, what do you mean? Spider-Man's an icon. It's not an icon because of Disney. Spider-Man was already an icon.
Right.
Why was Spider-Man an icon? Because Stan Lee had some idea of a guy in a spider suit.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm going to make this comic book.
Yeah, and when we say Marvel, we're talking about Marvel movies, not the comics.
Yeah.
Because the comics there's nothing wrong with
They
that.
created these icons, and you're seeing movies You think Stanley in the 60s was like, yeah, I'm going to make this character and he's going to have all of the movies?
Exactly.
No, he was just like, I like this idea. We're rolling with it. He made Black Panther, and I know people like the movie for him being a black superhero, but Stanley made him that long. He made him like way back in the 60s when nobody was doing that stuff yet. Wonder Woman for DC and these characters have become icons. They all have movies now. It's because they're just pure drive and
pure passion. Yeah. All right, so thanks for listening, guys. Thank you for coming to our podcast. Yeah.
We'll see you guys next time.
We'll see you next time.